Welcome to the New Normal Podcast. Today we got an extra fire topic for all of the people who are watching today. Does the black community have an unhealthy view on relationships? Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I got the feminine coach, Ashanti Jordan, with me back again.
Hey, I miss you guys.
If y'all have not been paying attention to her or follow her on any social media, you're doing yourself a disservice or injustice, or you're lacking good entertainment, I would have to say at the very least. So y'all make sure y'all go and follow her on her social media handles. As a matter of fact, I think I still got her video.
What video?
Hold on, I'm gonna play it. I need to get me one did.
Oh, yes. You're so sweet. Yeah, you got to hit up my girl. She'll make one.
But yeah, I'm gonna play her video for y'all.
I am so cute.
Somebody got the big head. Them niggas be in her DMs and
Ah.
shit. Now she got the big head. So before we get started, I'm gonna play a video. And Ashanti hasn't seen this video, and her facial reactions to certain things are always funny. So I didn't let her know what I was gonna play. But I'm gonna play it right now for the lovely guest that we have tonight.
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. It's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so it really male figures are not substantially important in the family.
So after watching that, what do you think about that video?
That is so disheartening.
Very.
I mean, I will say I'm shocked. And I know that they say, like, as the generations come, we become more wayward, you know what I mean? And we stray so far from the norms.
Yeah.
But those women sound identical to the women today that have
And I
kids
think
outside of marriage.
this clip was in 1986. So that's 37 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
1986. My mom wasn't even. I don't, my parents didn't even know each other. Like, my mom was
Really?
young. Yeah. No, my parents got married in 92.
Oh,
I
damn.
was not even thought of.
How old are your parents?
My mother is a beautiful 54, I believe, and my dad is 52.
Okay, so my parents 10 years older than yours. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering because 92, I was about to say, I was born in 88. Okay.
Yeah, because they got married in 92. I came in 94, and KJ came in 97. And so
Oh,
my
okay.
parents were married at 21 and 23. My dad was 21.
Okay, so they got married fairly young too.
Yeah.
Why do you think that our generation doesn't think of getting married that young?
I will say from my paternal side, so my dad and his family, my grandfather was military, and so was my father in their, background. And so I think when you're in that military culture, I think I want to say my dad said he had been deployed, and I think he was like dating my mom, and he was like,
Mhm.
I know if I have to go somewhere else, I love this lady. Like, I want her to be with me for the rest of my life. And so they got married. I'm unsure of their timeline of dating, but I think it was less than 2 years that they dated and got married.
Mhm.
But I think with both of them seeing the structure of marriage coming from their parents and their grandparents, um, it's just been a history. Like, I don't have many people in my family that are not married. And
Yeah.
so even though I'm not, I'm 28 years old and I'm not married, that goal still is like so important to me.
So after watching that clip and you see a woman say, I didn't grow up with my father, so I don't think fathers are necessary. Why do we continue to perpetuate this cycle when we know what kids are up against when they don't have a father in the home?
Because I do think the devil that you know is one that you don't know. You know what I mean? And so that person grew up with the pattern and the routine of not having a father present. So it was easy to fall back into that cycle,
Mhm.
being like another light when you grow up with a father active in the home, whether they are married, divorced, but still active. It's hard. Like, I don't know if I could be a baby mom. I don't
Mhm.
know if I have the strength and the capacity. I don't have any positive examples in my life of women that are successful being single mothers.
What does success look like when it comes to raising children?
I would say just being a happy person overall before you
Mhm.
even start with the kids. Like, I find that single mothers are often stretched financially. They're stretched with time, so they're working more. They aren't able to be physically present for their kids in all the ways that they could be if they had a partner, that helped carry that load or help fill in when, okay, I have to work later, but your dad doesn't. Your dad can make it to the game before I can, or something like that. So I think that those are stories of success. You know what I mean? Meeting those benchmarks for your children the best way that you can, but also showing your kids a great example of a relationship. I hope and pray, but I know that there are some women out there that don't want their kids to marry. You know what I mean? They want, mainly I hear like single mothers that have a lot of women in the family, but not a lot of men. They want their daughter to grow up and maybe have kids, but like don't marry. You don't need him like that, or even mothers. I grew up, with a son. I'm a single mother. I have a son. I don't want him to marry. Nobody gonna be good enough like your mama. You gonna be good. Have a girlfriend, but don't tie it
Son
down.
husbands,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
See, and that's a lot of the issues that I think a lot of women are running into nowadays because we have so many men who are raised by their mothers. So they haven't seen how to actually lead a house,
Hmm.
what it takes, the ups and downs. Like I was saying earlier, you have men that don't know how to stop a leaky toilet,
Hmm.
fix plumbing under a sink, uh, change tires, change oil. And the thing about being a man nowadays, especially how the economy going, you're going to need some type of resourcefulness because it might be times where you don't have the money where you can go and pay $80 for oil change, but you can go change your own oil for 20 bucks.
Hmm.
So being some type of resourceful, being resourceful as a man is needed in today's time. Um, the way things are going, people are crazy as fuck now. And like I said, even dating, the rise of people just in general that are crazy,
Hmm.
going on psychiatric medications. They just had a man, I think in Oregon, eat a man face off.
What?
Yeah, he just literally ate like an old man face off, his face, like his nose and his nose and ear.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So that lets you know, like these people that we are coming in contact with every day are pretty crazy.
Hmm.
And a lot of people are showing up with their representatives. So it takes a while to date people. I think you should date people at least a year so you get to know them through each season because some people are reclusive during the wintertime. Some people turn up during the summertime.
Hmm.
So you just need to be able to see all of those things when it comes to dating. Um, my common thing that I keep seeing on Facebook or social media that comes up every 3 days, a woman can raise a boy to be a man. What do you think about that?
How? I mean, there are certain things that I know men need to go through that I
Mhm,
have zero care in the world to acknowledge or experience myself,
mhm,
right? So, I don't understand how that could be, even if there is a situation where you aren't married to your child's, father. they are still need to be an active part of that kid's life. Like even showing how a man treats a woman, how a man opens the door up for a woman. Like I see my dad tell my mom all the time, "You're beautiful. Like you are amazing. I appreciate you." Like his affection when he comes home from work, he can have a bad day and be in a sour mood. For a split second, he's not nasty to my mom. I mean, he never is, but you know what I mean? Like he's a little bit excited, like, "Oh, I'm seeing my family, my kids, my wife. I'm home. I'm at peace. I had a sucky day, but I can regulate myself."
Well, that's good because I've worked with men who would rather be at work than be at home.
Mhm.
And that's sad because your house is supposed to be a place of peace.
Yeah.
And they say in the Bible, it's better to be on the roof of the house than be in the house with a quarrelsome woman. So a lot of people don't understand, and women in general, how to be a man's peace nowadays. We always talking about this femininity, which is a big issue nowadays because we have so many women taking on roles of men and wondering why men saying that they're very masculine. But we also have a lot of men who are very feminine because they never seen or know how to take on the roles of men. And so we have in our community, and we're speaking on I'm only speaking on my community because I've never dated outside my race. Have you?
Well, briefly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but pretty much we both
Mhm.
have dated black people, right?
Right.
So it's weird to see these talking points, the debates we have, even like the 50-50 debate. Like I was telling a lot of people, most of the people that I know or grew up with, they moms work. I never heard of 50-50 debate until we got to this point that we are now because I grew up thinking that it took a team, a man and a woman. It's rare occasions that I knew somebody that mom could stay at home. Like my mom, she could have stayed at home, but she chose to work. She wanted to work. My dad used to always say she didn't like being at home, a stay-at-home mother, so she decided to go get a job.
Mhm.
So, like I said, most other people I know, then the other people that I did know growing up, they didn't have a father in the home, so they mama had to work. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's weird that we having debates about 50-50 and what a man should do when it comes to financial support when a lot of people are growing up in households where they see their mama work. What you think about that?
Right. I will say that there is also a different conversation that's happening, right? So, my parents were young when they got married. By the time they were 20, I think when my dad was 25, he had two kids. My mom was 27 with two kids, and he decided to redirect his career to go into law.
Mhm,
So he had to go back to school for that. And my mom went to work during that time.
mhm,
It's really crazy you bring this up because recently I had a conversation with my dad about it, and he told me during those years when my mom was working and he was in school, my dad said he felt like my mom was helping him fulfill his job,
mhm.
which was to take care of her.
Right.
And so once he was established in his career and my mom became a stay-at-home wife, he was comfortable to fulfill his job and his role.
Well, let's stay right there. Let's stay right there.
Okay.
So I think that's commendable of both parents, right? Because I will say this. I don't think women can respect a man in a provisionary role when it comes to finances for a long period of time unless she sees this man working towards something. So, like you said, your mama seen your daddy trying to work to be a lawyer. Okay, baby, I know on the back end when you become a lawyer, I might have to do this maybe 5 to 10 years, but I know you see the work I'm putting in for you, you'll recuperate that down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I think a lot of women that are having these 50-50 debates and what men are trying to tell women, hey, I worked and did all this stuff before we get together, and you think you're just gonna come in my life and I'm just gonna make life easier for you. I don't think that's a fair assessment or fair to a lot of men because if I put in the work, going to school, the long hours, the sleepless nights, and I'm just going to just make your life easier just because you're my woman, I think a lot of men have an issue with that part.
I can see that, right?
Mhm,
And I think that that could be viewed as selfish, right, on both parts. Like, I don't want to give much because you're just gonna take in the opposite, vice versa for the woman. I will say the trade-off that my parents had, and even my grandparents too, because my dad's father was also the sole provider financially for his household as well. Um, I think and I live by this. My dad wouldn't be able to grow his business to the capacity that it is now
Mm-hmm.
if he was trying to get off work at 2:30 to pick us up
Yeah.
at 3:00. You know what I mean? And so I'm not saying that they had a perfect marriage and it wasn't times where my mom felt trapped in the home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where she's like, I'm not working. I'm just here to take care of the kids and to take care of my partner or my husband. And I can go out and see my friends, but this is my primary obligation. I do believe that she went through those times. I'm pretty sure my dad went through those times too, where he was like, I have the stress of carrying this family. You know, if I drop the ball, we won't be able to pay the bills. The kids won't be able to have everything that they need and most of what they want. And I appreciate them for moving through those struggles together
Mm-hmm.
and still making it happen for my sister and I, providing a great example. But I don't think that when you get married to a man that can take care of you financially, that all of your issues are going to be solved.
Yeah.
And I don't think that if depending on the man's job too, if you are staying at home, it is contributing to his growth and elevation in work to where he grows to a place where I know my dad works hard now, but I can say he's not definitely waiting on the next $100 so he can take care of something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's grown comfortable. He's had investments and other assets that have contributed to their lifestyle even now to this day. And it wouldn't be in that place if my mom hadn't sacrificed some time away, maybe going away from friends. You know what I mean? Not going on trips or coming to our basketball games or coming to us doing stuff that she really was like, I want to be in bed. I want to go out of town. I want to go to Atlanta and do stuff. But I have to be here for my kids. So it was definitely a give and take.
I seen a clip earlier, and I wish I could find it. The clip was on tonight's conversation, right?
Mhm.
And the clip was basically a woman saying, "You making me a housewife is not doing me a favor, but if you make me a woman of leisure,
I saw that clip.
then basically you're doing me a favor." What do you have to say about that?
I only feel like I want to word this correctly. I only feel like women of leisure, if they are mothers, don't mother
Mhm.
personally. Like, I think that you have some kind of outside nanny or assistance that is primarily taking care of your kid so that you can go out and do the things that you need to do. Because for most women that I know, even women that are, stay at home moms, they don't feel like they are like leisure. I don't know. Like, I think that is such a term that is fitting in many ways. Like, I feel like my mother was able to live her life leisurely,
Mhm.
but within some restriction.
Right.
And I think that lady that was on the tonight's conversation wanted to live life with no restriction.
At all. It sounded like she just wanted to be a hot girl, a married hot girl.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to Dubai tomorrow, and then you'll see me in Egypt the next day.
Yeah, like that's weird. Like,
Yeah.
you want me to do everything, provide a chef, a maid, a nanny, kids go to school, and you do absolutely nothing as a woman?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And my mom used to always say this: when you met that woman, she was working. So why she can't work when y'all together? Because if you're not there, she's going to do those same tasks anyway.
That's true.
I think the issue becomes, and women love to say this, that they can do when it's pertaining to sex. But after a long period of time, women always want more than just a casual sexual relationship. And they feel as if their vagina weighs more than the man giving himself to that woman. And we do view sex differently. But like I was saying, women always say we can do what men do, but no, you can't, because especially if I'm giving you good sex, you're going to want to try to lock it down, or your self-esteem would be in question of, why this man haven't proposed to me? Why this man hasn't put a title on what we're doing? Why hasn't this man wanted to go further with me? Like, those are things that I don't think people understand. So it's like, I can't do this just because we having sex. Like, nah, dog. Like,
Right. And I think that's where the situationship and the friends with benefits lands you in a rut. there are some people that are successful with going from the casual sex to relationship to marriage,
Mhm.
but I do believe the percentage of that is very low, far few in between.
Yeah, Imma say this. Women and men, I think it's just time for us to listen to each other and be able to take criticism.
Mhm.
Because if I'm telling a woman, "Hey, 50-50, I'm a great guy, but at this moment in my life, I may not be able to go and pay all of the bills." And she's telling me I'm inadequate as a man because I can't pay all the bills. And she's still finding herself 40 years old because she has that requirement of me paying all the bills, or any man that she deals with paying all the bills, when you don't even know statistically that men make like under $50,000 on average.
I would say it also goes toward dating potential, right? There is certain types of potential that I'm willing to gamble with, and there is also certain types of potential that I'm not willing to roll the dice on.
What does what do women mean when they say potential?
Okay. So potential candidate that I would be willing to roll the dice on, right?
Mhm,
Um, someone that is like in school
mhm,
to achieve a profession that has a doctorate or some type of thing that's going to catapult them where they're going to be financially in that space where they can do things, right?
mhm,
Doctor, lawyer, engineer, those types of jobs.
mhm,
A type of gamble that I can say I'm not particularly interested in gambling with is going to be someone has a pipe dream of becoming super successful.
like a rapper,
Absolutely.
basketball player.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are the types of gambles that I don't want. And look,
How many guys have you met that think they're gonna be the next
I
rapper?
don't
Or
date those kinds.
well,
So
I'm saying,
0.
well, how many guys have you met like that?
In a dating
It
situation?
just in just talking, like passing. Let's say you at a bar and the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be the next rapper, or I rap, or how many, or I'm gonna be the next actor. I'm gonna be the next Denzel." How many times do you think you encounter a guy with those type of dreams?
Not any recently, but I would say in my younger 20s, like, um, 2 out of 3 men are
Hmm.
gonna say that, I would say. But it also like, that potential is in that space too, right? And it also goes to, like, your motivation as a person.
Hmm.
Now, if you are saying, "Hey, I just bought a company. I'm gonna start selling water. Like, this is what I want to put my money into. I need you to support me while I kind of get this off the ground." And you've gotten your LLC, you've done your research on how you're going to do your supplier, you have those things in line. You're just now waiting on the traction to build
Hmm.
and you're still working. We can do that.
Yeah.
But if you're still going to Arby's to clock in at work, and it's nothing against Arby's workers,
Hmm.
but you're going in to clock in and you barely go to work on time. You calling off, or every 2 or 3 weeks you have a new job, and you're saying, "Oh, one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to do that," but you aren't making any strides to do that. I don't want to gamble with that,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to base my kid possibly having this gene
Mhm.
on you. Absolutely not.
So, so I asked that question because in my dating experience, it feels like women have those similar type of pipe dreams.
Really?
I've dated a woman that had to me, she had a nice body. Like she had a straight little body, straight little booty or whatnot. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get my ass done." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "I just want to get it did. I think it's just gonna help me feel better with self-esteem wise." And I'm like, "Okay, why?" Like, I'm asking, I'm trying to figure out. And I'm like, "You look great. Like, your body's nice. What are you trying to do? Like, you have enough butt that you should be getting a lot of attention." But that wasn't enough. Like, she wanted more attention, right?
Mhm.
Fast forward, I see this woman, same woman at Walmart, stupid big ass now. So I know it ain't hers. And we get to talking. I'm like, "What you doing, for a living?" "Well, I'm working at Amazon." So you mean to tell me you did all of this and I'm talking to you and you actually seem like you're less confident than before? Why do you think women have pipe dreams like that? Why do you think they're going to be the next Ari Fletcher or Black China or Buffy the Body? Why we've seen this so many times and it never pans out. You know what was crazy? They said Black China was making $20 million on OnlyFans.
Top earner.
Do you know how dumb you are to believe that?
I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know the numbers.
Yeah.
I saw it though.
If she's making $20 million, why is she crying about money? Why is she suing the Kardashians? And why are they coming to repossess her cars and stuff like that?
I'll say this. We don't know where her money's tied up in. She could be in a lot of debt. Second of all, I am all for getting the money that is owed to you. So if that is taking the Kardashians to court to get some money that's owed to you, I believe
Well,
you have every
she
reason
lost
to
that
get
case,
it.
but-
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, because the same thing
But
could be said.
you know, that's $1 billion in 4 years.
Yeah.
Come on, dog. Like,
did they say she was doing that the whole 4 years though?
But I'm saying that's every month. She's making $20 million.
I thought it was like an estimate.
I don't know. That's what they were saying. They said she was making $20 million a month on OnlyFans. Okay, we just gonna use common sense. Do you think she was making $20 million a month on OnlyFans?
I don't think that she was, but I do believe that there are some people on there that had more accurate, what's the word I'm looking for? Estimations. Bad Baby.
Bad Baby probably did make $50 million.
Yeah.
And went and bought like a $7 million crib after she came. So I'm pretty sure she probably did make $53 or $54 million in a year. That sounds reasonable. That sounds like $700,000 a month. That sounds about right. Hold on. Is you 50? About $3 million a year?
But we're clear, like OnlyFans, the ones that I've seen the content, they show their numbers are so sporadic. I'm not saying that she didn't make 20 mil at one point in time.
But no, it's not even that. It's the people that believe it, because I know this. Do you know why Bad Baby made that type of money?
She's a very beautiful girl. She was underage. It was people that was like waiting on her to turn 18.
Right. So you understand that aspect. She was underage, young, horny old men, ready to see this young girl bust it wide open.
Mhm.
Right. That breeds a lot of money. Even when you watch stuff on like porn and stuff like that,
Mhm.
you know, they say beautiful, hot 18-year-old or fresh, you know, high school graduate. They always post it as it being a very young girl.
Mhm.
Black China been out for the longest, had different porn leaks, heard, you know, giving fellatio, been around, tossed around with rappers, like she's a known person.
Yeah.
So ain't no way in hell.
Yeah, I think her estimation was a little embellished for sure. And Tyga.
Kevin Billard said, yep. But yeah, what his estimation was?
His was like, he was in the top 5. It was Black China, Tyga, Safari, which I don't believe is true either, considering his child support. Bad Baby and Mia Khalifa, I think, was up there. And I do believe Mia Khalifa probably is.
Yeah, Mia Khalifa. I could believe Mia Khalifa.
Yeah.
And
I think in the top 10.
I think Tyga probably could. I don't know what the number was, but he probably could be a top 5 earner. And the reason that I say that, so since I'm doing podcasts, I'm looking at a lot of different people podcasts, and so many other podcasters talk about Tyga's OnlyFans.
I've heard it had a big splash. He had a big video.
Yeah.
But I don't think his number was where it was. I would say he might be in the top 10. Because they also had Cardi B, Erica Mena, and some other people I can't recall, but I don't feel like Safari's number was accurate, just based on the amount of child support.
Yeah, I don't think Safari's was accurate either. And it's just hard to believe that we live in a society now where men and women. Me and Chris, shout out to the Date Master, was talking about this the other day. Men are becoming the new hoes. And the reason that I say that is now we have men say, go check out my story.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, where they can show their penis prints and jacking off and stuff like that. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, dudes are doing this now. Like, bro, I don't care. You can never do what a woman does. I don't give a damn A woman, yes, she can make all that type of money because I don't know no man in the history that I could think of ever got rich off of sex, unless
It's
he was the pimp.
a porn star.
Name a porn star that's wildly successful.
I can't think of his name, but it is one that is all over TikTok right now. He has that really dark arm or something like that and leg, and he got them letters on him. I promise you. I promise you. He is on every little spicy TikTok thing. I think is his name Owen Gray, something like that?
I don't know. I don't watch porn, so
I don't
know.
either, but they talk about him a lot
But
because of
the
what
reason-
he does.
But the reason that I say that because even the guys that I know that had a big following when I was growing up, like Lexington Steele and Rico Strong, the nigga that looked like Lloyd Banks.
I don't know porn stars. I just know Mia Khalifa, and I think it's Owen Gray from TikTok.
Owen Gray. Now I gotta look this up. Let me
I'm
look
looking
him
up
up
too.
Owen Gray.
I think that's his name. No, it's not. Porn star male with. Let's see. Let me put. He's a white male with black tattooed. I think it's his arm.
This weird, skinny looking, weird white dude.
Yeah.
This nigga ain't finna be wildly successful.
What's his name?
It say Owen Gray.
Okay.
You say he got a black tattoo arm and the other one. I don't know if that's him because he got like he got cannibal, like they did an autopsy on his chest or something.
Yeah, I think it's let's see if I can look up his net worth. He is the guy that they talk about though. Let's see.
Because I see a guy right here. He only got 2,400 followers. I don't know if this is the Owen Gray you're talking about.
Are you pulling it up?
Nah, I don't think that's him. Hold on. Let me type in.
This is him right here. Yeah.
Oh, damn, that was him.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Let me go click on it then, because that was him I seen.
Adult film star, yeah. I don't know how much he makes. Let's see.
Let's see this. I gotta see this. Owen Gray.
Let's see.
That's him right here, ain't it?
Yeah. He was born in 85. 1.3 mil estimated. That's what I saw. What do you see?
Oh, I'm just going to see who it is. This guy look weird.
Yeah. They be talking about him all on those spicy TikToks and stuff like that.
What they be saying about him?
Apparently, like how he talks to women during the eye contact, a whole bunch of stuff.
This is the weirdest looking guy I've ever seen in my life.
And I'm pretty sure he is in some form of.
Okay, so I got a question. You say his net worth is 1.3. Is that worth doing it, being a porn star to you? Would you be a porn star for 1.3 million?
No, I don't want to have sex on camera. I don't think that.
I'm just saying, what type of money would be okay for you to be a porn star?
If I had to pick amount, it would be whatever Mia Khalifa is bringing in.
How much money you think she's making?
She's making way more than him. Let's see.
You think so?
Absolutely. Mia Khalifa net.
You feel that?
Yeah. Let's see.
I know we off topic right now, but
I know.
This is
I'm
we
sorry.
gotta know.
5 mil.
So 5 mil is cool. Cause she was just on another podcast talking about she didn't make any money.
And she 29. Yeah, she didn't. It depends on how I know they talk about like your agency and stuff like that. But I think she got a lot of her backing off of not doing her own content, you know, being in charge of her own production and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But
Producing your own stuff, will grant you more money.
yeah, if I had brought in $5 million a year, I probably might consider it, but I still just wouldn't do it.
So $5 million, you
Yeah,
might bust it open.
absolutely. Give me a little Sony.
What your mom and daddy gonna say?
I think they would be so embarrassed. I don't think that they would support me. I
Do you think they'll try to like disown you or something?
I don't think so. No,
Oh, okay.
I think that they would just be upset about it. I probably couldn't talk about it at dinner,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, but like they'll still love my kids.
You know, I was listening. I know this off subject, but I was listening to Pinky. You know who that is, right?
Yes.
She said her daddy watch her porn.
Oh no.
Yes, she said her daddy watches her porns.
Oh no. Oh no.
That is disgusting.
That is,
the fucking
and she's
disgusting.
not even attractive anymore to me.
Not anymore, but Pinky used to be bad back in the day. Like Pinky body, like her not the small Pinky when she first started, but the little bit of gaining weight, like with that meat on her bones and that Pinky there. Oh yeah, she was.
I would be
she
highly
was- she
embarrassed
was-
if my dad started
Yeah,
watching me. Stop doing it.
Pinky, that Pinky, yeah.
No.
But yeah,
absolutely
that
not.
would be weird.
Oh, we got a comment.
What's the comment?
Mia doesn't make spicy content anywhere, but she lied about. You see my mom?
Uh-huh.
Mia doesn't make spicy content anywhere, but she lied about her videos. She said she made under 10 videos, but she got more than 30. Then she got in trouble for her most watched video where she wore a hijab. And yeah, she did get in trouble for that. Yeah, we would not be doing that.
Shout out to old Pinky.
Ugh, disgusting. Yeah, mama, we're not gonna be doing that. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
Miss Jordan, your daughter said $5 million. She gonna be singing a different tune now. So I'm gonna tell you.
I said I would consider, but I definitely don't want to do that. No,
$5 million.
I want to get married, and I do not want my husband to.
$5 million.
interact with me like
$5
that.
million. Your daughter gonna be walking in the house with an alias.
Oh Lord.
Oh man, $5
No.
million. What would your porn name be?
We're not going there. What's the next topic that we're supposed to be talking about? I will not engage.
What was your
anymore.
name? What was your name be?
I don't know.
Mystic Rain. That
Uh-uh. No, I would have a regular name.
Mystic Rain coming to the stage.
No, I would have a regular name though. I wouldn't do anything crazy like that. I'll just have a regular name.
A regular name.
I have Mia Khalifa just got her little things.
Yeah.
Or Owen Gray, you know,
Oh, okay.
that's something regular. But I'm not engaging in this.
Oh,
Not
okay.
what did he call me?
Isis Fox.
No. What is the next topic we're supposed to be talking about? Can we get my face back up there?
Isis Fox.
No.
That might be all right. Yeah.
Absolutely. We need to get him off the screen. No.
Hello, I guess it's Faisal. Hello, Faisal.
Hey, Faisal. Absolutely not. That is crazy.
So, stuff like porn, even though that was a segue to this,
Yeah.
how do you think it influences our community? Media, social media, TV, movies like Tyler Perry. Do you think Tyler Perry makes positive movies for Black people?
I will say he does. What I say is positive. I won't say all of his content isn't positive. I think
Name one positive movie that you can think of. Now, even if you haven't seen them all, but one you could think of that was positive.
I'm not really familiar with his catalog. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
I don't know.
So the thing
I can't even name 5 movies.
I don't think I can name 5 either. But the ones that I have seen, I don't think they land Black men in a positive light. And what I mean by that, they had the meme going around. What they said about Helen throwing Charles in the tub.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Or how what the man name, how he talked to Sheila. How Mike talked to Sheila about being big and leaving her on a train, or had to drive with her to the house, or the man cheating on her, and then
I have to stop you.
What?
Because in all movies they have a bad guy and they have a good guy. Sheila was with a bad husband, but she got a good, better Black husband.
But these are different movies.
I know.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have anything now in media that gives us that Cosby Huxtable vibe anymore. Just a mother, father working the everyday struggles of raising children and trying to, go through career and dealing with people. Just simple, normal, everyday lifestyle where it ain't no beating. Like we have Krishan Rock and Blueface.
But if you look at it, that's not the Huxtable dynamic. It's not what we see now. Like it's not a part of the reality that we always see, right? And that's not what's consumed. And I do feel like what we consume is what they produce. So we stop consuming the Huxtables. We stop consuming Roseanne. We stop consuming those type of dynamics, and we move to reality TV where there is drama, there is scandal, there is a story there. There is not always positive figures on women or men, but we gravitated towards that. So I can understand why there is no more the Huxtables.
Yeah, see, the thing is, hold on. Darren said, no, absolutely not. He shows us in the worst light. I agree too. I think that as well. But the reason I asked that because why do we let us as Black people let so many people who aren't Black dictate what we should consume?
Well, I'm assuming we're talking about the Black community and the Black audience, right? And so the Black audience is consuming Krishan Rock. The Black audience is not consuming.
I'm saying
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Why do we let people that don't look like us put out content that's detrimental to our community to be consumed? Why don't you think we stop something like that? Or why don't maybe a Tyler Perry give a new writer that can come in and revise or refresh his stuff that he's put out to give us that Cosby Huxtable show?
Because at the end of the day, it's about $1. This is his job. He's not here to navigate a generation of people to go left or right. He's here to provide a content to be consumed. And so if they are doing data upon what are people within the ages of 25 to 35 consuming, it is not the Huxtables. It is reality TV. And if those are going to be the types of people that are going to be going to the movie theaters and watching films, because if you think about it, those are people that are in the dating ages, that we got to figure out how to get that dollar. And so we're not going to get that dollar if we put Mary Poppins up there. We're going to get that dollar if we have some kind of scandal, some kind of big catastrophic story that there is a couple that's gone through some hardship. They break away and one couple succeed, or one part of that couple succeeds and the other one doesn't. Like it's going to be that storyline. And it's not only in the Black community. Yeah. I would say it's consistent in all communities.
So when it comes to that's my job, I got to do it to make a buck. Should it be more than that though? Or are we ruled by the almighty dollar?
I won't say that we're ruled by the almighty dollar, but if we're thinking about our time, not only Tyler Perry's time, but he has to pay his actors, he has to pay the production, he has to pay the people behind the scenes, or in all of the other costs that I can't even think of, right? He has an obligation to fulfill. And the only way he's going to fulfill that obligation is to put forth the best content that can be consumed so that he can not only fulfill those obligations, but also make a profit. So do I think he's driven by the dollar? No, but I think he's driven by the demand. He has people that are relying on him to pay their bills. And so he would be doing them a disservice if he completely changed where he was going now and was like, well, I think we should put Teletubbies up there. Now people aren't going to the movies to see that.
I think that's an extreme to say Teletubbies. And I know that's being facetious, but I'm saying, like, you don't think we could have somebody that could come in and give us really good television and be positive though?
I would say documentaries, and they are not consumed, but they are really good television. They oftentimes have really good information that we can use moving forward. I went to go see She Said in the movie theaters, right?
What is that?
It was a documentary about Harvey Weinstein and how the New York Times took him out with their article that was written about him and just the whole demise of that aspect, right? That same weekend, Black Panther came out. We got a fictitious storyline, of Black superheroes. Don't get me wrong. Some that are pointed in a positive light, some that are, the bad guys. Ultimately, it was a good ending. I'm assuming. I didn't see the second one. But then we have information, realistic stuff that happened today, like within the last couple of years, that we can take into the workforce, understand how that situation came about, how it emerged, and how it fell apart.
Yeah.
It was I went on opening night at about 8:30. It was or 7:30, 8:30. It was less than 20 people in there. So it depends on the type of content that people want to consume.
Yeah.
So it depends on the consumer. I was in there. I like documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say I'm probably a minority compared
Mhm.
to if you put me in a room of 100 people, I would be shocked if there were 15 people that was like, I would choose to watch a documentary over Black Panther action.
Mm. So you don't think our minds can be geared to want to like something? You don't think they put stuff in our face and make us like it?
I think as adults, we choose to consume what we want to consume. I
So
would
I-
say as a child, yeah, when we look at Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, some kids were watching BET at an early age and may have developed the appetite for those type of storylines. But after the age, I would say of 18 to 21, you are in control of what you consume.
Have you ever been riding down the road or walking in the park or something and just started singing a song? Like, I don't even like that song, but I'm singing it.
Probably not. I don't listen to music a lot. I listen to my spa music all the time at work,
Mhm.
and I hate listening to music in the car. I listen to podcasts
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I guess maybe a time or two I
Yeah.
have.
I'm just, and the reason I say that because there's been a time where I was heavy in music 10 years ago. I used to make beats and produce stuff. Actually, I wrote a song for a guy that put it out not too long ago. But you'll be riding in the car, hear a song, I don't like it, and turn it off, and then find yourself singing it. You be riding down the road, you singing a song with it not even playing, or you might be doing a task and this song pops in your head. It's like, damn, that song
Subconsciously, it spoke to you.
yeah. Or like it's funny because my wife, she didn't like that Pop Smoke song. And I'd be like, Billie Jean, and shit. And this thing I know she'd be in the kitchen cooking and she just
Yeah,
she
say it.
randomly says
Yeah.
that. She like, man, I hate you. Like, why you got that song stuck in my head? And then so it's stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know because it's a science to all of this.
Mhm.
Like we used to actually like study music, it's a science to it. And I think it's the same thing when it comes to gearing our minds to certain things when it comes to the content that we consume.
Mhm.
And I think they put us, they lull us to sleep with a lot of this mind numbing stuff that we watch. It's not educational, it's not going to help us to the next day.
I do feel like some of that stems from parenting, though, right?
Mhm.
And maybe because like I haven't seen a lot of Black BET movies like the Fridays or the Get Rich Die Trying type of movies and stuff because my parents didn't allow me to watch that.
Mhm.
And so now as an adult, I don't have a care to go back and watch How High or whatever high show was that Snoop Dogg was in or
Yeah.
like content like that. Even Power. I think that's why I don't care for that
Yeah.
storyline because it just was never embedded in me that this is consumable.
Yeah.
And so
But I think I was the same way too. Cause my parents didn't let me. Like I can remember a time I was downstairs watching The Simpsons, right?
Mhm.
And my dad came down there. He never watched The Simpsons before, and Bart was cussing the dad out of son. He's like, "Oh no, y'all gotta cut this out because y'all ain't gonna be in here thinking y'all finna cuss me out." Or I remember Will and Grace came on, and Will and Grace was
I don't know.
okay. So Will and Grace is a show. Maybe late 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, right? And we didn't have cable, but it was a popular show on TV when you didn't have cable. And one of the guys were gay.
Mhm.
And so I couldn't watch that because of that type of stuff. So it was a lot of stuff that in my house on Friday, we couldn't watch Friday. When Friday was coming out, I remember going to school and kids was talking about Friday. I couldn't watch Friday because my parents didn't allow it. But like I said, I went back and watched it and like, okay, I understand. It's like I understand why as a kid I couldn't watch that.
Mhm.
And I do think nowadays, because I even post this from time to time, especially us as Black people, if you're letting your child listen to any type of rap music, you're letting them watch porn, you're letting them do all sorts of type of degenerate stuff. Because why do I need to let my child listen to a man talk about women or bitches and hoes
Yeah.
and eating vagina and women talking about they popping their cat and doing all this and break a nigga for their money and all of this? Like, why would I let my child listen to something like that? So me, when I ride in the car, my children, we ride in silence. I don't even listen to podcasts. We ride in silence and talk.
Mhm.
Like, how was your day? What did you do at school today? Who did you play with today? I always ask my kids who they play with. I make sure I say, well, who did you play with today? Because I want to know who's around my children and who's influencing them, then hey, where did you pick this saying up or something like that? But I don't think we have people who care enough
I
to
agree.
parent their children like that. And that's one of the issues that we're having in our community now is parenting. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
People are sending their children
Did
to
you see that
school as
post?
for daycares. What?
Did you see that post that said, I don't want my kids to say yes, ma'am, and no, sir? But I made a response and I was like, but you think it's funny that your 2-year-old can fluently curse you out when they don't want to take a bath or when they don't want to go to bed, they can call you the B word. And that's funny. And you put that online. But somebody made a post.
Hold on. So say that again.
Someone made a post on Facebook and they were saying, I don't want my kids, or it makes me cringe when I hear kids use yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And I just made a response. And I was like, so what you're saying is this is cringy, which I feel like is a term of respect, right?
Yeah.
But a child can curse and people laugh at that online. You can put a 2-year-old cursing somebody out, saying the F word, the B word.
Like you seen that time Young Thug Dollar was on there.
Yeah.
I'm motherfucking tired. And
Yeah.
they thought it was cute. And then he had to come back and say, I don't know why y'all think this cute. And I don't know why she even posted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like that's funny. You know
Right.
what I mean? Oh, they just look young. They heard me say it.
All right.
No, like when I grew up, I think I knew what cuss words were, but my parents didn't curse in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
My parents didn't drink in front of me. Or if they did, it was when we were in bed. We had a bedtime, 8 o'clock, we in the bed, 8:30, it's time to go to sleep.
Right.
You know, like we had that structure. My parents, we listened to music, but it was like very limited, you know, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. I grew up listening to a little bit of Britney Spears, a little bit of Sammy. It was kid stuff.
Right.
I didn't know anybody else, but those like 3 or 4 people made music in the world. And I don't even know, honestly, if I could be honest, I don't even know if I heard a Tupac song or a Biggie song, honestly, to this day, a full song.
Yeah.
I just heard an LL Cool J song like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't grow up listening to that. And so I guess my appetite of what I want to consume is like not that. Like it's a time and place. If I go out to the club, yeah. If I'm at the gym, yeah. But I don't listen to music outside of those 2 places. I hate it.
How do you navigate that trying to be a social media influencer, femininity coach and you don't consume that type of stuff? How do you keep up with what's going on in pop culture?
I see it on social media, but I can say I don't like go
so you
out
just
and
use social media.
Yeah. I don't go out and search it. Like I don't go out and particularly look for that kind of content when I'm just alone by myself.
Yeah.
It's not something that I want to listen to or watch. Because I do believe you got to protect your ear and your eye gate. And if I keep being a diehard City Girl fan, not knocking their music, but some part of that is speaking to me.
Yeah.
And some part of that is going to act out. And so now I'm going to be trying to trick men into giving me money and sleeping with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like that. And I want to protect myself.
Trying to be a woman of leisure.
Yeah. I want to protect myself from that lifestyle. Like, I don't want to be in that.
Yeah. I'm going to change your name to Summer Rain.
Oh, God. Please.
Oh.
No.
So I see a lot of women on your Facebook commenting. Sometimes you have an amen group and then you can flip the script or change it when it comes to dating preferences, and those same people that were cheering you on when it seems like you're bashing men get upset about you having different standards than them. How do we change the mindset of women to know that they can date better?
There's a saying that I live by. Those that cannot hear must feel. And so sometimes those women are going to have to run into brick walls repetitively and then look at their hand and recognize that they're bleeding for them to realize. But a lot of women are going to continue to hit the brick wall without checking and see, what can I do to readjust? Am I hurt? Am I damaged? Can I recover from this?
Yeah.
And so they're going to hit that brick wall until they go home to look up or down at us, wherever that is.
Do you think it's some people that ain't never going to learn?
I do. I do feel like there are some people that are never going to learn, and I feel like those people that are not going to learn are people that are so married to their lifestyle
Mhm.
and the ins and outs of how I was raised. This is it for me. Like
Yeah.
it's not ever changing. Things are not going to evolve for me. I grew up watching my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, my great grandmother with no man in
Mhm.
the house, multiple kids, fathers. I only see that's the ceiling for me.
Mhm.
And so it will take usually a child that has access to different influence, like a friend
Mhm.
or someone at school that has, if they go to Girl Scouts or do, an activity,
Yeah.
and they see, man, I didn't grow up with my dad, but my friend does. And when I go to spend the night at her house, we all eat dinner together with her family. And when we go out of town, we all are on one accord. You know what I mean? It's going to take those kids to actually go out. It's
Mhm.
not going to be on the mother's merit, unfortunately. It's going to be
Mhm.
the child that say, I grew up lacking this. I don't want to repeat that.
Mhm.
But they had to have outside influence.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel like it'll change.
Hey, thank you, Justin. Hey, it's
Yes,
been a
thank
long time
you.
since I talked to you. Thank you, bro. Who went to school
Okay, hey Justin.
together?
Let's
Who's
see.
this? Maceo. People gravitate to what they like and think they deserve.
True.
I agree.
What about a dad that goes out the way to get involved and gets crucified for it? I would say, and your kids look beautiful. Your two daughters, I believe. I would say continue to go out of your way. Like, I don't know if my dad ever received any ridicule for showing up for my sister and I, but I would imagine if he did, it didn't deter him to making
Hey,
our day.
excuse me. I'm sorry. Hey, V Brad, can you like tell us more about like what under what circumstances is it like a father fighting for custody?
Yeah.
Is it the woman speaking bad on his name? Like what circumstances are you talking about when he's getting crucified and why he's getting crucified?
But I would say, as long as your daughters are happy, and I'm a daddy's girl, okay? It doesn't take much for me to be happy, just my father's acknowledgement and knowing that he supports me in his presence. Continue to go and be there for your kids. Like, I can't think of a lot of things that my dad bought me, but I can think of a whole lot of times that he was there while I was upset or crying or even acting crazy. You know what I mean? And so continue to be there for your daughters. I'm the eldest of two. My sister and I think the world of my dad, even to this day. And don't let whoever the outside influence is stop you from being that superhero and being Superman for your kids. Let's see. I get 50-50. Can you click on that?
Okay, I'm gonna click on
I get 50-50 when they were little. Now they're older and everything I do is wrong. Oh, okay. Well, if it's from your kids,
that's what you got to ask yourself. When it comes to your kids, you have to sit down and talk to them and see if that influence is coming strictly from them, or is it someone that's in their ear
yeah.
telling them that what you're doing is wrong. Now, if it's strict, if you could talk to them and know that, hey, this is offending my kid and it's truly coming from my actions and what I'm doing, then you might have to reassess what you're doing and take heed to what they're saying. But I think if it's like a mother in their ear or a family member or somebody that's close to you or close to them telling you, well, my dad does this and your dad doesn't do this, that's why I feel like your dad's, a bad guy, then you have to reassess or even make sure your children aren't around those people who are giving them bad influences. What you think?
Also, keep fighting for your kids. And I would say I'm curious to know what their ages are, because I know probably when I started going through puberty, middle school to high school, I probably wasn't the best daughter or the nicest to my parents. So give us a little grace. We're going through our hormonal changes. We also have that time of the month where we are just raging out of control, and we are still trying to figure out our bearings on what's going on with our body. We really don't care about what's going on with other people.
I think that's for both men and women.
Yeah.
At that age, like Miss Jordan said, as teenagers, you might be battling hormones.
Yes.
And I agree, because my daddy used to always say when I was getting older, because you smelling yourself, you you're getting a little taller, you're getting a little stronger, you're working out, and girls give you attention. Now you think
Yeah.
you a man. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Sometimes you do have those battles, and I don't know from a woman aspect, so I don't know. I was just three guys in the house of my mother, so we had that testosterone issue in our house, being the man, getting into fights and stuff like that. So as far as a woman aspect, I'll let Ashanti speak on that part.
Yeah, I mean, as a woman, and I know you just mentioned it was from their mother, but as a woman, that has gone through puberty, even now, I can acknowledge I have a bad attitude sometimes. I may not know why, but I do have self awareness to know I'm just not in the best mood. But if you're speaking upon the mother, I will say continue to move forward even throughout that, because this is a small part of time of their life, and what their mother says and what your actions are showing are not going to align if you're definitely doing the right things that you can do to the best of your ability. So don't succumb to her negative words. At the end of the day, you are the first man that's going to love them or show them that you don't. And so I
I
think
agree with
that
that.
you
Yeah.
have to continue to go against that grain and be there for your kids. Their mother is influencing them probably, because you guys have 50-50 custody. Continue to be pure, true, and be there for your daughters. The mother is going about her life, and it's only going to be so much time that she has to say these negative things before they are old enough to recognize what's going on. And I do believe the kids are going to recognize.
I think it's because she's trying to excuse dipping out on me now that they're older. Let me put it on the screen.
Well, you know what? And that may be true, but I will say that is not the kid's fault. Like you guys' personal matters, it's not the kid's fault. I don't think it's appropriate for her to involve the kids, but at least on your half, I wouldn't even engage or entertain in that.
Always, I'm gonna say this. Another thing, I don't know how old if you don't mind, can you tell us how old your children are? But don't force yourself on your children. I've seen this a lot with guys. They'll force themselves on their children because they want to try to hedge the bad or negative things that the mother can say about them. I think you should just let your child or your children come to you. And when they come to you, you should just be open and loving as possible. Another thing is never, like you said, never, 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 never bad mouth the mother, because it takes a certain type of individual kid, it takes a certain type of child to actually be able to decipher between if my mama is a fucked up person or not. Because I know guys to this day who were raised by their mother and their mother alone bad mouth their father that wasn't there. And they would tell me stuff about their mother. And I'm like, and sometimes I overstep my bounds and I tell these guys, I said, do you know that the reason your father probably left is because of the stuff that you're telling me about your mother, and you think your mother is doing right by you? So you have to, like I said, you have to not force yourself on that. Don't talk bad about the mother. And like I said, just be open, because when they get old enough, they will figure out who was the bad parent. Kids are always going to figure it out,
Yeah. Yeah, 13 and 11. I'm just going to tell you right now, buckle up, friend, because they are about to go through puberty. Your 13-year-old may already be there. And we're going to go through that period where we kind of hate you. But it's going to last about 5 years, you know what I mean? To about 18, 19, we kind of mellow out and we get back there. But just don't let whatever that other parent is doing impact how you show up for your kids.
And like I say, just always show up for them. Just
Yeah.
always be there. And like I say, it's an uphill battle. And remember, do not take out on your children what you and their mother are going through.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing, because I've, like, my wife talked about how her parents got divorced, and for the longest time she thought they got divorced because of her. So a lot of kids deal with that thinking or that type of animosity in the house too, because some people grow seeing their parents actually physically fight each other. I don't know y'all situation, I'm not saying that, but like I said, you just have to always make sure that you're always showing up, giving love, speaking life into them, being positive. And sometimes, and you're the dad, so sometimes you have to, when you want to cuss the mom out, you just always have to put a smile on their face and tell them, hey, your mama's a good woman, whoop de whoop, because at the end of the day, the roosters always come home to roost. You know what I'm saying? So just take your time with it and don't force yourself on them kids.
Yes. Agreed. What do you say?
He said, just hard when I met other women that wish the daddy was ever there.
You know what? I've had a few friends that have step parents. And it was not easy at first, but like I said, just continue to move forward in love, light, and positivity. I do believe that parenting should always come first when it comes to, having relationships with other people. I can't understand the need of not wanting to be alone while your kids are, growing up. So make sure that there's a healthy balance for sure. I don't know how I come across this, but I'll be sure to like and subscribe. This for what did it say? Oh, thanks for talking.
I
with
don't
me.
know how I came across this, but I'll be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for talking with me.
Thank you.
Thank
we are
you.
so happy you
And,
commented.
and thank you, like, and make sure you share the video. We're
Yes,
trying to grow our
please.
channel, and we appreciate you interacting with us. And don't be afraid to interact with us or tell us what's on your mind. Comment when you see us talking about it.
And where are you from too? If you drop it in the comments, I'm
Yeah,
just
where you
curious to
from,
know.
Brad?
And people in the comments, drop in where you are. I'm just curious to know where people are.
And make sure y'all go. If you're, as a matter of fact, we're gonna take a break. Y'all let us know where y'all from, and I'm gonna post Ashanti's link again so y'all can follow her.
Yes. Thank you. All right.
So, stepfathers, let's talk about that.
All right.
So, I was watching a YouTuber a few days ago by the name of Angry Man. You ever heard of him?
Have not.
Okay, so Angry Man's been blowing up. He's in the manosphere space, but he gets a lot of slack because one of the tenets of being in the red pill manosphere space is not dating single mothers, right? So, are you crying?
No. Am I?
Your eye water. I'm about to say, what you crying for?
Oh.
Brad got Ashanti crying.
I don't think I'm crying.
Oh, your eye was watering.
Oh, they do that often. Birmingham, or Orlando.
Orlando, Florida, in the building.
Orlando in the building.
Okay.
Right.
My cousin said see on the podcast link. People be always hitting me up when I'm doing stuff.
Did he text you?
My cousin.
Oh, okay.
But Angry Man, let's get back to what I said. Angry Man was talking about being a stepfather because, like I said, one of the tenets in the red pill manosphere space is not dating single mothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he married a woman that had a child or children. I'm not sure, but I know she had a child. And he was saying, he said he's not part of the manosphere space, but they put him in there. But he was saying, in our community, how do we expect us to help our community and heal our community if men aren't willing to step up and take care of other men's children? What do you feel about that?
I may have an unpopular opinion,
Let's hear it. That's why you're here.
but I don't think that it is a man's job to do a cleanup service for a woman. I think the original issue is the fact that a woman, in most cases, because there are some women that were married that have husbands that passed away, right,
Mhm.
or that they divorced, but I'm willing to bet that there's a small majority of women that are single mothers from that reason, other than the fact that people are just having kids with people that they are not married to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we need to start with guarding our wounds as women. Like, having a baby is the highest honor that you can give a man. Some people have done that 2 and 3 times to 2 and 3 different men.
Right.
And it is unfair for you to expect a man to come in and try to clean that up for you.
Right.
I don't think that's fair. Now, I do feel like just being realistic, the older you get, like, you just gonna recognize that some people have had children, but in for my preference, I don't really want to date a man that has had kids outside of marriage.
Okay.
It's just not a preference of mine. Maybe one kid with one mother, and I think that kid needs to be definitely I don't know, depending on his age, they need to be at least 8 to 10 at minimum. I don't need you to be 40 trying to talk to me. You got a 3-year-old. No, sir. No. But
So okay. So with that idea, do you think you want to marry a man and try to be with a kid that's young enough that you can grow with them, or do you think it'd be harder to date a child that's a little bit older that kind of would, for lack of better words, stuck in their ways?
I personally, if I had to step in and meet a guy and marry him, I would prefer their kid to already be established in their mothering and have an active mother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go from girlfriend to wife to mother to some kid that's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that I want to do.
Okay. So his idea of men stepping up to help the community, do you think that men should be commended on that though? Or do you think men should up their dating standards as well and try to find a woman without kids?
I think that's a commendable thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like it's commendable for someone to may have a preference of wanting to date a woman that has no kids,
Mm-hmm.
has found a woman that has 1 or 2 kids,
Okay.
and she is meeting your other needs. It's just this one thing, and you're like, hey, I know that you're lacking a father figure in the home.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that is not the case, but potentially lacking a father figure in those kids' lives. I'm willing to alter what I want to do to live with you and, to create a family unit with you. I think that's definitely commendable
Mm-hmm.
because he could have dated someone with no kids.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you think men should try to avoid women with children?
Single men with no kids?
Single men with no kids.
Do I think they should try to? I think it depends on where they are with fathering. Like
Mhm.
if they're ready to father
Mm-hmm.
and that person has a kid,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. If you know deep down in your heart that you have no intentions of raising another man's kid, stay clear away from a single mother.
I think we should go a little bit farther with that. I don't think if you don't want to raise another man's child with a woman, I don't think you should have sex with that woman either.
I definitely agree.
And the reason that I say that, because when I meet a woman, this is me. When I meet a woman who has children, and I have to think about my child being in the house with another child by another man that could potentially influence my child to do a certain thing or go against my tutelage of this child, right?
Mhm.
So I would not want that to happen. One. Another thing is I couldn't date a woman that has children, especially if she has an active father in the house, because that father has say so in my household now. Because if your child does something and I reprimand that child and you tell, hey, you can't do XYZ to my child, now what am I going to do? This is my house.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
I think that's definitely situational though, because I
Mhm.
would prefer to date a man that has heavy influence with their mother. Even if the kid lived primarily with me, I don't know if I want to accept that responsibility. And maybe because I'm not a parent and you are a parent and you understand their influence that you have over your kids.
Mhm.
But now with me not having that responsibility, it isn't one that I want to assume at 100% capacity. No. Please call your mama. You know what I mean? Call her. Ask her, can you get the Jordans or the Nikes or whatever? I will take you to the mall. I just want to fulfill that secondary obligation. I don't want to be making decisions for this kid.
I understand that. So, talking to women when it comes to dating, what do you think women tell you the biggest thing that men don't understand about women?
Single mothers?
Just women in general. What's a reoccurring thing women are asking or telling you? Well, men just don't get this. Men don't get that. Men are saying this. Men are saying that. What do you think men are dropping the ball, or what are women saying? Where are men dropping the ball at?
I feel like it's kind of regarding sex and when it should take place and when it
Okay.
shouldn't. I would say that's a heavy topic on my timeline, I guess, because I've been talking about the DNA test and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I would say that it seems like men are more sexually available to sleep with just any person.
Yeah.
Whether some women or the women that I've come across with have some discretion.
Mhm.
So I would say just that. And then I was also on TikTok and I was on a live and we were talking about like sexual partners. It was one young girl who was 19 and she was saying that she was dating her boyfriend and they were practicing abstinence until they were married. And um it was women in the comment section that was like, or in the box with me, because this was a commenter. And they were like, yeah, well, they were like in their late 30s, early 40s. And they're like, yeah, I kind of have sex with men within the first 6 weeks of talking because I do feel like I don't want to wait 6 months and then
Found
I
out the
have,
dick trash.
yeah. And I'm like, well, I don't think I would mind if I waited 6 months and the relationship didn't work out because at least I didn't share my body with this person.
Mhm.
And I do also feel like sex is physical, but I
Mhm.
think it can be heightened when you have an emotional connection with that person and you
Mhm.
feel like you connect on more levels than just this.
So I I I agree, but then I disagree because I feel like sometimes if you do like a person and you have sex and it's good, it will heighten it. But if you like someone and then you have sex with them and it's bad, then what do I do with these feelings that I got? Because I can't continue to go on like this. And I know we lack sexual
I
intimacy because sex is where basically my love for you each other come together and we mix, and now it's actual physical and a spiritual thing. So now I know that I don't like us having sex.
right, and
It
you
throws
know
us off.
that's rooted in being promiscuous, right? Because we shouldn't
Yeah,
be,
I
we should not have had all of these other
I can't
experiences to
really
compare this to.
I can't say if we're talking about in a comparison type of thing, yes,
Mhm.
I 100% agree. That's in promiscuity, yes. But I do also think that you can like someone and you have sex with them and it just doesn't work. And it doesn't have to be size or anything. It could just be the chemistry, how you just feel in that moment with that person.
Mhm.
That not the sex is bad. I just feel awkward with you.
Right.
Or you know, on the science aspect, our fluids don't even mix together well.
Mhm.
You feel what I'm saying? They don't have nothing to do with promiscuity. I, our fluids don't mix well together,
Mhm.
or you know, you're awkward in this moment. Like you're cool with every other moment, but it seems like you might be uncomfortable with your body being naked.
Yeah, it's vulnerable.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely
So it could
so.
be something like I've dated women who say, I don't want to get completely naked. Like, can I leave my shirt on
Mhm.
while we have sex? I'm like, why? And I got to have this conversation with this person. Like, you're not big or anything. It's like, well, I don't have any breasts, and I'm always self conscious with my breasts because I don't
Right.
have any breasts. I'm like, I don't care. I can tell you have no breasts, period, with
I
your shirt
think
on.
though you move past vulnerability as you grow with your intimate connection with that person outside of sex, right?
Mhm.
So of course, the first time you take your clothes off in front of somebody you have never taken your clothes off in front of before, there is a point of vulnerability that can be uncomfortable for people.
Mhm.
But I do feel like you will definitely move past that if you guys have a deeper understanding. But if you feel like I'm only here to perform for sex and there's no deeper understanding, I don't know if that person is going to be able to move past being vulnerable in that capacity.
Mhm.
And so, like that's one thing that I feel like even when I was on the panel, because they were talking about, oh, I do it in this amount of days, and I was like, well, I don't.
Mhm.
Like I reserve sex for commitment or for marriage.
Mhm.
And they was like, I could never do that. They were almost shaming that young girl, and I said, girl, you're 19. You have so much time to sleep with people.
Yeah.
Kiss your man and go to sleep at night. Tight. These are women that are in their 30s and 40s that have no man. And they've been popping it for pimp for how long now? You know what I mean? Like, let's be realistic here.
Yeah, but and that's the thing.
And I will say this. Normally, women that preach like being promiscuous
Mhm.
don't have partners or situations that I desire that make me be like, oh, I should have been doing that. It makes me
I
feel like
agree.
I'd be like, I should not.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. I was saying it in my live earlier.
Mhm.
Why aren't we talking about the bullshit that comes along with certain things? We try to and I understand social media is a highlight reel.
Mhm.
That's all it is. It's the, oh, you got these dunks right here on 3 people, but they didn't show the 6 turnovers before that dunk.
Right.
And that's the issue, and that's why we're leading people astray, because it's so much that we need to talk about that comes with promiscuity. We ain't, like I said, like, why these women ain't talking about, well, I had to go to the clinic 5-6 times, get an abortion because I had sex with this many men that's not suitable to be a father. And let's be real, even if the father isn't a suitable man, but he has money, women aren't going to abort those babies. So we know you're having sex with men who don't even financially care, can't even financially take care of you.
Mhm.
We've seen a Tristan Thompson say, hey, I'll give you this certain amount of money, which is a decent amount of money, to abort my baby. And the woman's like, no, because I know you got money. You, even if you're not here, I can take care of me and my child.
Mhm.
So at the bare minimum, these women aren't even sleeping with men who can financially take care of them.
One is reckless, one is foolish. It's reckless for you to get pregnant by a man that has no money.
I agree.
I'm sorry, it is foolish for you to get pregnant by a man that has no money. It is reckless for you to get pregnant by a man that does have money. Both are not great options, but if we're gonna look at the two, I do feel like, in my opinion, and I feel like this for men and women, I don't think you should be having sex with people that you can't see yourself with for the next 18 years at least.
We
Or
need to, and
marrying.
see, we need to change that too. If you can't see yourself with this person for a lifetime.
Yeah. I'm just
'Cause-
saying, if
yeah.
you are a baby mama, baby daddy connoisseur,
Yeah.
if that's going to be your life path, you don't want to get married, but you desire to have kids.
What up, Cuzzo?
You need to only be having relations with someone that you can see yourself being amicable with for at least 18 years for the betterment of that child's life. Or you need to decide to not sleep with that person.
Yeah.
And I think because we see things like porn and the city girl lifestyle, it makes it seem like sex has no consequences.
Mhm.
And it has so many ramifications
Yeah.
to the point where people feel like it is more of a commitment to get married to
Than to
a
have a
person
baby.
than to have a baby.
That shit wild as fuck.
That is crazy.
This is what even watching that video earlier,
Yeah.
that woman said, I don't want the commitment of having a family, but you want to wake up every night, change all the diapers by yourself, do all of the feedings by yourself, take all of the doctor's appointments by yourself. What other commitment is bigger than, why wouldn't you want a family? There's been plenty of times my children wake up in the middle of the night to get up to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, you've been getting up. And to be 100% real, my wife would definitely wake up way more than me. It'd be times she would get up out of bed and I just have to wake up and say, hey, baby, go lay back down.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I go to sleep. I get my sleep and she wouldn't bother me, get up and tend to my children. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this week and do this. So in comparison, I haven't done as much as my wife when it comes to like the kids in that aspect. Right. But to just help sometimes to know that, hey, if you're sick, like my wife's sick, I'm there. Baby, sit down.
Yeah.
I got you. Lay down. I got you. The kids, I keep them out the room. I lock the door behind myself and make sure you have that side of the house to yourself and just call my phone when you need something. I give you your time. Like you don't even have a break to yourself as a woman by yourself all of the time.
Even the mental break.
Right.
The mental break, I had a bad day. Because it's been times where, like, my dad has come in and he's in a bad mood and we are like, all right, we're going to chill out. If I got a question, I'm going to ask my mama. Can't imagine if it was like my mom and she coming in, got a bad attitude. I want some Kool-Aid or something. I got to ask her. She's pissed off.
Right.
I can't imagine that. And so the fact that people put so much like emphasis on marriage, when even though people don't like when I say this, I believe in divorce. Like, even though it's traumatic and I don't ever want to get divorced, I want to marry my husband and be with him until God calls us home. It's an option that I will not deny knowing. I can delete this marriage. I can delete you. I could change my last name back to Jordan. No one would know except the government and potential kids. But my kids, I can't delete them. If I'm tired of you, our relationship has expired and I have no dealings with you, but I have to still answer your phone calls when you calling about the baby. Crazy. And that's blasphemy.
And that's the sad part, Darius. I know so many women who dropping their kids off with their grandparents or their mother who's 6 months out from fucking dying.
Man, how about
Dude,
this?
Go ahead.
It's people that's making their mama's grandmothers at 40, 45 that's thinking they finna drop their kids off saying, well, my mom dropped me out to my grandma. Well, your grandma was in her 60s. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, our 40-year-old mothers are still working. Do they
Right.
need to stop working to take care of your kids?
Right.
And my grandmother told my mom this before she had me. She said, I love my grandkids. When you come, bring them. When you leave, take them. My mom lived by that to this day.
Yeah.
I was my parents' responsibility. I didn't grow up going, even though my grandparents didn't live in Birmingham, I didn't grow up going to my grandmother's house after school or every other weekend. My mom taking me over there and I'm spending a whole lot of time with my cousins. I didn't grow up like that. I did that in the summertime. I felt like I was there the whole time. My mom said I was only there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, my mom was like, you and your sister were my responsibility.
Right.
If I needed help, of course I could depend on your grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandparents spoiled us.
Right.
They didn't provide us school clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They didn't make sure we could eat. They didn't make sure that we had basic necessities of what we need to live.
Mm.
They gave us the stuff that my mama said, I ain't buying that. And I'd be like, I want to call my grandma. And I think that's how it should be.
I agree. So you said, before we get out here, let's go to this. You said you want to talk about things that we can change,
Yeah.
that can better or further our community when it comes to dating and relationships.
Mhm.
What's one of the things you think we could do that's top of your list?
I think we need to put more emphasis on the Black family dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Single parent lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
statistically, is not proven to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a way to get to generational wealth. It is not a way for you to have to pioneer through life doing the job that is made for two people to do on the backs of one person. There are going to be so many things that are going to fall to the wayside. I think that we need to put more emphasis on building that family unit, which is going to be stop having kids outside of marriage.
Yeah.
Like, stop. I know that there are single mothers out there that have been divorced and or have a deceased partner. But we have, as women, we guard the access to life. Protect your womb. Why is everybody up in there? Why you got a baby daddy that's not worth nothing up in there getting you pregnant?
I agree with what you said. And I'm going to say this because you always have to get this caveat when you say marry before you carry. And I don't know why we are still having to give this caveat to women. Marriage is not foolproof. Marriage is not all of that. Marriage don't mean he can't leave you and all of this bullshit, right? The reason that men, if you listen to who's really telling you to marry before you carry, a lot of men are telling women that. The reason men are telling women to marry before you carry, because me as a man, I understand that if a man takes the time out to want to get on one knee, propose to you, and make you his wife, and even involve the state to where you could divorce him and take his assets if he was to hit the lotto or something, who knows? That means he thinks more highly of you, or he sees something more special in you where he wants to be there to raise a family with you in that dynamic and in that unit. It's a lot of people out here just having sex. There's nothing special about just having sex. It's something special about when I say I want to take you on as my wife, protect, provide, give provision over these children, over my household, go to work for you, and do these things for you, and with the title of you being my wife. So when women say, oh, marriage is not this, marriage is not that, it's not foolproof, it's not going to save me from being a single mother, or what they, now we have the married single mothers. And it's like, what? Why are y'all adding all these extra titles, these extra rules, these extra things? And there's so many people who aren't married telling people that marriage is bad, or who haven't been married that marriage is not a goal of theirs, but they're okay with being a single mother.
I feel like, I hate to say this, it's going to be very bad, but I feel like a lot of those women that are so anti-marriage, that come from women that weren't married, I feel like they side chick babies. I hate saying that. I feel like you were raised by the side chick who had aspirations of being married, but it never panned out. And they have transferred that energy to you. Because how are you saying that?
So you say they side chick babies?
I do believe some of them are raised by side chicks, raised
Mm.
by women that were never chosen to be a wife, but were always consistently chosen to be a baby mama. I do feel like that because statistically, there is no reason that anyone would opt to be a baby mama and not a wife. You can't give me not one benefit that you would get being a single woman, raising kids, that you would not get as a woman in a marriage, as a wife in a marriage. Can you think of one?
No, not none at all.
And
But-
so when people
well, if you the one benefit is you get to still sleep around with a whole bunch of other men.
Well, that could be a great benefit for those that want to do that. But honestly, I do feel like there is not one like concrete benefit.
yeah, it's not.
And so when people are definitely preaching, I don't want to get married. Well, if there are women that don't want to get married, don't get me wrong. But the ones that just don't want to get married, but they want to have kids, all like, are you serious? And then they don't choose great fathers as well. They even on the video we watched, they don't seem like they chose great fathers.
But if you look at those women look very poor.
Absolutely.
And I think the people who are trying to do baby mama lifestyle or have the mindset of not being married all come from typically, not all, but typically come from a poor background.
I do agree.
And I think that's some poor ghetto hood rat type of mentality that we are trying to perpetuate in our community. And that's why I even say, why are we watching the Zeus Network? Why are so many people? And I'm not, I'm gonna say this, and I say this because I know people are getting tired. It's bad that Zeus is keep pushing Krishan and Blueface so much, and the function so bad. I see on my timeline, first time ever, they want to cancel this toxic ass shit that they put out.
I hope they do.
So many people, and I was so surprised. It's like, can we please count? Like, every time I see them, I'm going to write, can we please cancel this ghetto ass shit? Like every time, because it is no reason for this. I just watched a video of these two dummies. She hit Blueface with a bottle. He has a big gash in the back of his head. I could play it right now. He has a big gash in the back of his head.
Oh my gosh.
He calling her, you acting like a bitch, whoop the whoop, all this, whoop the whoop, all this, talking to her crazy, right? So I guess he could tell he's out of it. He has to have a concussion. But his face is blurry and stuff. So she goes over there. She looks at the gash and she's trying to pick the glass out of his head, right? Tell me why this girl gonna say, well, I'm about to go get the vacuum. I'm about to go get the vacuum cleaner and see if I can vacuum it out.
What?
This girl said, I'm about to go get the vacuum cleaner to vacuum this glass out of your damn head after I hit you with a bottle.
Nobody called the ambulance?
And he just sitting there. He like, nah, baby, I don't think. He just sitting there quiet. No
He's
ambulance.
probably dazed.
No, that's what I'm saying. He has to have, you can see it in his face. He has to have a concussion. I'm talking about a big ass leaking. And he just on the couch calling
Alcohol mixed with that wound, glass, his brain and skull. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Darius.
And I'm like, bro, and I was so excited seeing people, not just women, not just men, just people in general, just like, we need to cancel this shit.
I don't watch them.
This is a type of relationship where someone is going to end up dead. I hate to say that. It's leading to that. Why aren't these people separated? Why, as Blueface being the man, that you are okay with this shit? You're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to be the leader. And your woman around here hitting you with glass bottles like champagne bottles.
Because something about that dynamic is reigning familiar to him. And all of the things that we do in life are either rewarded by positive or negative behavior.
Mhm.
And from what I understand, his mother and his sister are both volatile in that same way that Krishan is.
Yeah.
And so this is a familiar space for him. So I could definitely see how he's continuing to be in this cycle. But I think that it is so dangerous because how does he still have a job? I mean, like, usually when men are, look at Chris Brown. You know what I mean? Like,
but you're right. Because Whack 100 is his manager. I don't know if you know who that is.
I've heard of him.
He said, man, I've gotten $2 million of cancellation letters from Blueface dealing with Krishan. He, on the video that I just watched, Whack 100 takes Krishan outside and says, "Hey, what y'all are doing is costing him money." She says, "I don't care about his money. We're gonna get it back. If he lost $2 million, I help him make $2 million." Whack 100 said, "Well, if you still help him make $2 million, that would have actually basically been $4 million, but you're only making back the stuff that he lost." And then I looked at Whack and I looked at her and I'm like, this bitch just hit this nigga across the head with a bottle. And you're trying to actually have a civilized conversation with this person.
Chris Brown was so, I mean, even though he was young and it's not excusable, he has been he will never reach the part of his life that, you know, I feel like he was on the track to being recognized as.
I think he reached that pinnacle. I think Chris Brown and who he is, I think that's where he was going to be. I think it got slowed up a little bit. I think,
and he's also married to that bad boy image that he will not be able to shake. Unfortunately,
well, that's part of his stuff, because he came out with all that blood stuff and, you know, being a gangster. Then tried to rap and hanging out with the, you know, the Bloods in California and stuff. So he tried to perpetuate that image, because I don't know why he would be an R&B singer and want to be the tough guy image, you know, especially. And this is why I be wondering about people PR teams. You have your issue with Rihanna, then 5 years later, you want to perpetuate or try to say that you're blood and do all this gangster stuff. Why would you want to do that? Like, that's a bad look. You should try to go into more of lovable image instead of that.
You know, they say with Rihanna and with Chris Brown, like their first image that was shown to the public was not their true self.
What you mean?
Like, Chris Brown was definitely pushing that Usher light, you know, like that musician, soft singer. And that wasn't really a part of where he came from. And Rihanna was pushed for like this, you know, nice, sweet island girl, like from Barbados. But she bad. So basically,
for lack of better terms, they try to groom them to be something they wasn't.
And their image, that incident allowed them to separate and be who they really are. Like, I don't think that he is portraying this bad boy image because it's cool for him. I think that this is kind of where he's always been. You know, when he was in the Hollywood, like
that could be a thing.
He was good. And the same thing with Rihanna. Look at her. Like, look at how Disney characters are. It's the same thing. They're presented to us nice, sweet, clean cut girls, and then when they break out, they are Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
but I think, because we're talking about those type of people, I think those people they done been through so much, especially like being fondled and drugs and seeing certain type of stuff and exposure at a young age. We know what, you know, certain exposure at a young age can do to the mind and stuff like that. So it is very, 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 very scary what happens to people. And also, I think Chris Brown got unfair coverage because, like they said, both of them was fighting each other, just like Blueface and Krishan. Like, if every incident where Blueface punched Krishan in the face was televised and hers weren't, and he was saying, "Hey, she's abusing me too," nobody would ever believe it.
I think Chris Brown's team was slow to respond. That's why he's in the position that he was in. I think he was very slow to respond and slow to rehabilitate that image and clean it up for us. He didn't really go on any apology interviews or anything like that until like years later. And so we had already seen Rihanna immediately, you know, go into the public eye, respond, you know, put that good girl image out. She was upset he was cheating, you know what I mean? And he just got crazy, and I just responded really quick, and he knocked me out. You know,
that's how.
And
that's
then
what she said.
Silence in some people's eyes is complicitness. And so because he didn't kind of come back and counter and say, well, you know, these things happen, but a couple other things happened too. We just felt like she was telling the truth. We didn't hear the other truth.
I'm gonna say stuff like that. I don't condone anybody hitting anyone, shooting anyone, like supposed Tory Lanez, even though I still don't think he shot that woman.
Doesn't matter what you think.
It doesn't matter what I think. And like I said, I'm gonna say something that's controversial. even though he was convicted, it's a lot of people that have been convicted that didn't do what they were said to have been
True.
done, like Central Park 5,
Mhm.
prime example. And then some people who didn't get convicted, but they did it, but people didn't saw to convict them, like a George Zimmerman.
Mhm.
So it just depends on your jury, your lawyer. It really just depends on your lawyer and what your lawyer is trying to convey. Because even like if y'all go back and look at Tory Lanez trial, he had a dumbass lawyer.
Yeah.
For one reason, when Kelsey testified, and this is a spill, but when Kelsey testified and recanted everything she said in the interview with the police, they wasn't going to even bring up her 80-minute testimony until the lawyer said something about the 80
However, she did get a deal of,
immunity.
which means she did something.
Right. But
And
see,
that something could have been lying.
but my thing is, if how if you care about justice, this is my whole thing. If the courtroom is really about justice, why haven't y'all really tried to prove what happened?
I will say this: the courtroom is looking for a conviction.
Right. I agree.
Justice, I don't know if that's always on the agenda, but a conviction is.
Yeah.
And when you have two attorneys in there, they're just trying to tell the story the best way that makes sense.
But see, the thing is, the evidence that they had and the stuff that the discrepancies that they had, I don't even think this shit even went to court.
Well, the biggest thing was the semantics of did she get shot or not, because he was shooting toward the ground.
Supposedly.
And allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to say allegedly now. They confirmed that, he did it. So I'm not going to say allegedly.
They didn't confirm nothing.
Didn't he go get convicted?
He got convicted, but that didn't confirm that it happened.
Well, under the guise of that, he got convicted.
Yeah,
he
got
was convicted for shooting toward her direction. I don't care if you shoot in my direction, it hits the moon, the stars, and comes back down and grazes the side of my eyelash.
Yeah.
I have every right and intention to say I have been shot.
You do.
I think the semantics, at least from what I saw on social media, was the fact that, oh no, the bullet hit the ground, then it hit you. Yeah, the bullet came out of what firearm that was discharged by whom? That constitutes being shot.
They still haven't technically proven that she has been shot. So that's the thing, because even if you remember when the case first happened, they said that she had bullet fragments, and then all of a sudden the bullet fragments went missing. Do you remember that?
Right. Well, I would say a jury has seen all the evidence.
Yeah.
And they have come to a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
I stand by it. If he shot her, I think that he should be extradited and or face up to 22 years in prison. And I think that he should have every right to appeal while he is in prison and or in Canada.
Yeah, I agree. If he did it, yeah, I definitely agree 100%. My thing is, that's why I said justice wasn't served, because if you have an eyewitness saying Tory Lanez was in the car 3 shots when Kelsey and her was out there fighting. See, and this is what people didn't understand. And I'm going to say this about the case. People keep saying Meg Thee Stallion was not on trial here. Technically, she was, because the state picked up the case based off what she said. Meg Thee Stallion told so many lies, pertinent lies. Like people say, oh, her lying about sleeping with Tory Lanez is not a big deal. Actually, it is, because now it gives motive of why you weren't shot. You said in Gayle King interview, you didn't put your hands on anybody. You didn't have anything. Well, police report says different, that you got to find. And
she didn't commit perjury, though.
No, I'm not talking about perjury on the stand. But that's the issue. See, the thing is, when the case came up, all of that came out.
Right.
But on Gayle King, she was lying, because the thing is, I don't think Kelsey or Meg thought Tory was going to take it to trial, for one. I don't think they was going to. I think they thought they was going to plea. 2, I knew it was some bullshit, because when they tried to get him a plea deal a day before the case, 2 days before the trial actually started, I was like, oh, they must know their case is pretty shaky. Like, they don't have too much to really convict this man on this case, right? So I'm like, they know this shit is bullshit. Now, like I said, it's depends on the jury. I think lawyer-wise, what was dumb was when his bodyguard showed up and the prosecutor said we need a week, and y'all said, no, we're gonna let the jury go ahead convene so they can do this before Christmas. You mean to tell me you think these people are going to sit here and actually talk about what your case and your future in a reasonable manner 2 days before Christmas?
They rolled the dice.
That was stupid.
And a lot of times
That
The
was hold on.
court-
That was dumb. When I sing that, and you got your bodyguard coming to show if you just out the blue, y'all need to wait for him, and he could be a good witness for you because it was y'all four, and you need somebody on your side. Kelsey already fucked up the prosecution shit, and now he got to go do it. Say, yeah, Kelsey shot this bitch, and Tori got out and wrestled her for the gun. That's all he got to get out there and say.
I will say this. Usually the
What?
prosecution.
Come on, hold on. Before you say something,
Okay.
me and you, we both could have defended that case better than that. Tell me, you don't think you could have
That's when
defended
you're
that
not
case?
on one accord, and when you're lying, that's not on one accord.
I know. I'm saying.
So they have to.
Hold on.
I don't think so.
Me and you could have defended that case better than that.
In hindsight,
We could have we could have defended. So I'm gonna ask you a question. If they said we got this, if Quan shows up a day before they deliberate and say, he gonna be your witness, and all he got to get on the stand and say, yeah, Kelsey shot Meg, and Tori got out, wrestled her with the gun. That's how both of them got gunshot powder residue on their hands. Would you say, no, fuck it, y'all go in there and deliberate, or would you say, no, let him talk because this is gonna be a good witness for me?
and that witness was lying.
No, the witness was telling the truth. But let's say the witness was lying.
No, I'm not committing perjury in the court. I'm not doing it.
But you're not committing perjury.
I don't want to be in cahoots
But
with any deceiving of the court.
But I'm saying, if he was going to be a good witness, he's your witness. I'm just saying, he's just your witness. If he's telling the truth or not, it's going to be favorable for you.
And if he gets charged with committing perjury, and it comes out that he has been coerced by me, I don't want no parts of that.
We're not talking about him being coerced. You don't know what he's gonna say, but he's your witness.
Okay.
You didn't go and say, hey, you got to say this. He's going, you heard what he said. You didn't say, are you telling me the truth? Well, maybe you should say, no, he said, well, let's say he says, yeah, Kelsey shot Meg, and Tori got out and they wrestled for the gun. Whoop, whoop. If he said someone on the lines of that, you really want to let him testify?
Maybe because I'm not in the business of protecting an assaulter. No, I don't.
You don't
think
even
so.
know if he did it, though. That's what I'm saying.
They know who did it. We don't know.
Hold on, I got a question. So if that's the case, that's why I said Justin was, sir. How do Kelsey? They still haven't answered. How does a Kelsey get gunshot residue on her hands?
I'm not familiar with guns and how they work in that way. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you what they had. They had.
Are you a specialist?
No, I'm gonna tell you what the specialist said.
Okay.
So the specialist said, if someone shot the gun as many times as they said, there would be DNA on the gun.
Mhm.
Right. Tori DNA was not found on the gun. This is what the specialist said. And they said they did find woman DNA on the gun, but they did not test Kelsey for her DNA.
Okay.
Why would she have gunpowder residue on her hand?
Did she not pick the gun up after it was fired and
No.
discharged?
No.
How are we proving that?
Huh?
How did they prove that she didn't?
She said, but they didn't prove that she didn't pick it up. She said she never had a gun.
Right. She probably didn't have one in her possession. Wasn't it in his possession?
No, it was hers.
The gun was registered to who?
It wasn't registered to anybody. See, that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
didn't even prove who it registered. Then you had the hairstylist say, well, when I put the bags in the car, we packed our own bag. And it looked like Kelsey had a gun in her bag.
Looks like doesn't mean
So
it
I'm
is.
just saying, I'm not saying.
And
it
secondly,
is.
you can discharge a firearm without your residue, without your DNA being on it if you have
But
something to hold.
gunshot residue.
But what I'm saying is you can discharge a firearm, right?
Mhm.
Without your DNA being on it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but the specialist said if it was shot 5 times, your DNA would definitely be on it. There's no wiping it off where you just like people
Not wiping it off, but what if he had on a jacket or something?
He just can't.
article of clothing?
No. See, that's what the argument is. He had no shirt on. They just came from a pool party. He had nothing but underwear on.
I mean, that's true, but there is other things probably in the car. I mean, like, you're not creating a reasonable doubt here. That's the thing. And
so
if
you're
we're-
telling me that's what I'm saying. The specialist said you're not wiping this off.
I didn't say it was wiped off.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. If it was shot 5 times by this person, the DNA he said would definitely be on there.
Right.
So, but his DNA wasn't on there.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. That's what the specialist. You asked me about the specialist. I'm telling you what the specialist said.
Okay.
But a woman's DNA was on there, but they didn't test Kelsey. But y'all knew she had gunpowder residue on her hands. Are you sure you're looking for justice? That's my whole case. Are you sure you're looking for justice, or are you just looking for a conviction?
I definitely
And
think they
people-
were looking for a conviction.
And people say, well, it makes no sense for Meg to lie about getting shot by Tory Lanez. So if you get shot by your friend, or you getting shot by the hottest nigga right now in 2020, which one makes bigger headlines? Which one gives me more sympathy?
I'm sorry, he was the biggest what?
The biggest nigga in 2020.
Oh wow, wouldn't know.
Yeah, Tory Lanez was popping like a mug in 2020.
Mm.
Quarantine, like
Oh, his lives.
lives, music, but like yes, like that nigga was on at the time. But I'm a Tory Lanez fan, so
Yeah, that's probably why you think that.
yeah. But no, this is you can look it up. He
I
was the
can.
hottest nigga in 2020. Yeah, that nigga was doing his damn thing then.
Mhm.
And so, like I said, when you asked why would she lie, I was like, why wouldn't she lie? It's Tory Lanez. Like, and then she was like, people say the funny shit all the time. So you mean to tell me the friend who just got to fight with her because she found out that Meg slept behind her back again, and Tory Lanez just getting mad because she said your career only popping because you on the song with Jack Harlow? Come on.
I will say this: looking at his history of violence,
Come on.
I don't put it past him that he got upset. His ego was bruised, and he decided to respond. He also was under the influence of alcohol and/or drugs or other substances as well. I don't see how it could be unfitting. He wasn't like the.
I got a
Pope.
question for. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So, do you think if a man is violent, that means he's violent to everybody?
I would imagine so.
I don't think so.
You don't have to. This is a question for me.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I know a lot of men who are actually violent to men would not hurt a woman at all.
Yeah.
I know a lot.
Mhm.
And I know more women that are violent to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a person that is violent in one area of life you can apply that in different areas. Now, whether that person agrees or not is per, each person's discretion. But
Yeah.
I would say if you are violent and you can unleash that unprovoked, I think that is definitely easy for you.
But how you know his stuff was unprovoked?
I would say it's unprovoked because no one threatened him with violence from what we heard. Right? Did anyone meet him with a gun?
I'm just confused.
Oh.
I'm just confused because, like I said, they still didn't prove that they convicted him, but they didn't prove that he shot her.
Right. Well, it's proof that he was a felon
That wasn't true. That wasn't true. He wasn't a felon.
Or he was in possession of a firearm that was not his. Is that correct?
Yeah,
and that was a part of his conviction. And there were other 2 more counts. He was convicted of 3 felonies.
He was convicted. That wasn't proven though.
It doesn't matter. You know what? Unfortunately, they couldn't tell the story good enough.
That's why I say.
And they had a unanimous count.
A lot of bullshit.
Yeah, it may have been, but you know what would have absolved him from all of this?
Yeah.
Not getting in a car inebriated with a firearm when he shouldn't have been around.
See, that ain't his problem. His problem was he was a popping ass nigga and he's stupid, going around sleeping behind friends' backs and thinking you the man.
Maybe so. They landed him in jail.
That's
she would have made a different decision.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's some stupid stuff.
And I bet he probably would have wanted to take a plea versus what he got now.
Nah, that's another reason I think that I don't think this.
Well, I will say this. My dad has told me this too. Usually it's an unspoken rule.
Mm-hmm.
When you get a plea deal, it's usually like, hey, we have the evidence that you've done this.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you not to waste our time and your time, your attorney's time, and everyone involved, you can take the deal. We'll give you a lesser sentence. If you decline that and you decide to go to trial, now we're about to tax you.
Mm-hmm.
So the sentencing usually is more heavy.
Right.
And the judgment is more harsh, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's not fair. But I think he might have been better off reconsidering his options versus now. But like I said, he can appeal in jail or in Canada.
Yeah, they do an appeal process now.
Yeah.
Because they his sentencing was supposed to be this month, but they pushed it back because he got a new lawyer, and his lawyer said they finna. I guess they maybe finna do the appeal or whatever.
Yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't think it. I'm gonna say this, and people ain't gonna like this. When you're a man and you deal with known women that are whores are messy. Whores are gonna always put you in a messed up situation, and you should never, ever deal with a woman who is very, very promiscuous or sleeping around like that. And we know Meg and Kelsey were both of these type of women, and that's why they were okay with sleeping with you behind your back. You thought you were the man, doing something. It's probably something they do with each other all the time. And like I said, when Kelsey got on stage, on stand and said this ain't the first time Meg has done this to her, and they were still cool. That's something that they do. And like I said, if you're a man, don't mess with whores. Whores always are missing. I'm said it again. So y'all make sure. Don't fuck whores. I stand by that. Anything else you want to say before we get out here?
Yes, when you raise the barrier of entry, you force the standard to rise, continue to elevate. Those that fall by the wayside, they just gonna have to fall. And you know, you don't have to dismiss them. Also, do not baby mama yourself. You are worth more than being a baby mama. You are worth being a wife. You are worth being held in a high regard and being respected. You are not going to settle for just being a baby mama, and that's the highest achievement that you have in the relationship world. So, yeah.
I'm going to say this again. Fellas, don't sleep with whores. Whores will get you locked up and killed and other type of stuff and try to put you on child support and be baby mama you and all of this other type of stuff. Women that are very promiscuous are not good for you. It's not a thing that I want any man to aspire to going out there and get that low hanging fruit because she's giving it to everybody else. You deserve better, fellas. Love yourself or no one else will. Be the man that you want to be, that you see in the mirror. Or you don't see in the mirror because you like fucking whores. It's the New Normal Podcast. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, share. Follow the page if you're looking at us or watching us on Facebook, the New Normal Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all go and give Ashanti a follow, hit her up. Like I said, on social media right now, it's popping with
follow me at Ashanti Jordan. It's spelled traditionally Ashanti, Ashanti, and Jordan, like the shoe, Jordan. It's lit over there. Go ahead and follow me, comment on my stuff, interact with my posts. Pookies are welcome as well.
Oh, she going in on the Pookies. Y'all gotta hear this. Hear how she talks about the Pookies and the Pookies and the Ray Rays. And she got the Pookishas over there too.
Pookishas as well, yeah.
What she said y'all can fall in love in the comments.
Yeah, find love in the comments. You don't have to convince me. Find love in the comments.
All right, it's the New Normal Podcast, and we gone.